A local lawmaker is facing a whistleblower lawsuit.
State Rep Eric Davanzo's former chief of staff claims she was fired for complaining about mold in the district office. Ross Gadati has more of what she's alleging.
The lawsuit claims that Marcelle Nicole Ingram was simply trying to make sure where she was working was a safe working environment, and that Davanzo fired her, claiming she was opening up a can of worms. The lawsuit filed in federal court states Davanzo's state-appointed chief of staff, Marcelle Nicole Ingram, first let the representative know of the mold problem at his West Newton Water Street office in May of this year.
Once those mold tests came back positive for toxic black mold and another type of mold, she reported that to Representative Davanzo.
According to her attorney, federal lawsuit, Ms. Ingram contacted the Republican State House caucus to see if anything could be done. The lawsuit claims Ingram was told to buy tests for mold and see what they showed. According again to the whistleblower lawsuit, upon hearing of the positive mold test, Representative Davanzo angrily asked Ingram, quote, "Who the expletive deleted gave you permission to do this?"
She did notify her superiors, and then in an email they said, "You should take mold tests." And that's what she did. And then when she told Representative Davanzo about that, that's when he profanely responded to her, and then shortly thereafter she was fired.
The lawsuit also includes an email, allegedly from Davanzo, to several members of the GOP State House regarding Ingram's mold test, saying, quote, "I am just so pissed the blank off. I do not wish to have Nikki Ingram work for me anymore. This is just unacceptable. Now we are going to have to move offices? Show me one building from the 50s that doesn't have a trace of mold in it. What's next? The asbestos floor tile adhesive? It's not going to end. We've opened up a can of worms. I will shut my office down first." However, when told of her dismissal, Ingram claims she was told the following.
They told her that she was fired due to conflict of personalities. She's a public servant and working for a political entity, but this wasn't about politics. This was purely just about having a safe work environment. And the response was surprising.
Miss Ingram's attorney, Nicholas Kennedy, says that his client is seeking both wage losses as well as punitive damages available under federal law. We reached out to both Mr. Davanzo and the state GOP to find out their opinion on this lawsuit. We are awaiting a reply. In Greensburg, Ross Gadati, KDKA News.
A whistleblower contacted our hotline about a moldy apartment problem. He claims it's causing serious health complications for his family. Valley News Team's Ryan Laughlin has his warning for other families.
Well, I'm freaking pissed. I contacted Valley News Live, the whistleblowers.
Ernest Peltier says he's got a mold problem.
Something that needs to be addressed by our property managers.
The mold is on the exterior of the garages just across from his ground level apartment.
You can tell the wind comes right through here, and if we open up our windows during the summertime or spring, all that's coming right into our house.
He says the apartment company IRET misled him from the get-go.
They kind of underhandedly shown us a very nice apartment, and then we got the apartment we currently have.
What makes matters worse is the health of his mother.
She had an upper respiratory system infection earlier last year due to the mold, and we fought that for, since her immune system disorder kind of knocks out her immune system, we fought it for a good 3 months.
He says IRET property managers have said they'd fix the problem, but never did. Now he's moving out, concerned about health complications returning for his mom.
I know that there's a lot of elderly folk in this area that, depend on living in a healthy environment.
He says for the more than $1,000 he pays in rent, this isn't worth it.
If you have elderly folks that you live with, or if you have grandparents or sick children, stay away from mold.
From Grand Forks, Ryan Laughlin, Valley News Live.
Multiple calls for comment from IRET apartments went unanswered. The Centers for Disease Control does say that people with weakened immune systems are susceptible to getting mold infections. And this story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. So if you have an issue you would like us to investigate, give us a call, 237-6576. You can leave your tip and our team will investigate.
Fountain City has been fighting mold now in their apartment for more than a year.
Yeah, and we're not talking a small amount here. The damp environment has really taken over nearly every wall in their small unit. So they asked WATE 6 on your side consumer reporter Don Dare to see for himself what they've been living with, Don.
Well, they say the apartment they had been living in was very unhealthy. But there is good news tonight. New management that has just taken over. Repairs are underway, and we'll see those repairs in just a moment here. In some cases, mold in your home can make you sick, especially if you have allergies or asthma. Whether or not you're allergic to mold, exposure can irritate your eyes, skin, nose, throat, and lungs. For Daryl Moll and his girlfriend, living in mold has been very unpleasant. You have a lot of moisture in your bedroom.
Now, Don, we have too much moisture in the bedroom.
Daryl Moll has been fighting a losing battle and beating back mold that has spread throughout his apartment.
Started leaking right here, and it went that way and this way. Every time it rained, it flooded.
This is all mold.
Yeah.
We moved the bed in his apartment to see the damage, which started more than a year ago.
It's breaking the wall, it's caving it in. It feels damp to the touch. Yeah. And the carpet stays wet.
The carpet stays wet.
Yeah, it never dries.
Daryl is disabled. He contracted viral encephalitis at the age of 16. It's an inflammation of the brain caused by a virus.
This mold started shortly after the bedroom flooded for the first time. And you see, it just kept growing and growing and growing.
The walls in the living room and dining area are covered in mold. It's apparent water has seeped in behind the walls.
You can see it's as flimsy as a piece of paper. It's just all the way down. It's just no good.
Daryl and his girlfriend live in Fair Hill Apartments. He pays $450 a month for the one-bedroom, one-bath unit. How is your health with all this?
Well, I'm congested. My nose stays stopped up and headaches occasionally.
There is no central heat or air in the apartment. Daryl says his original apartment managers brought in baseboard heaters last year.
6 foot long, and they cost a lot of money.
I bet they do. Do both of them work?
No, only one of them works.
Only one works?
Yes, sir, and that's how it was when I got it.
Countless things have been ruined. I have a cat, and it has breathing problems because of the mold. It's just not safe for anybody to live here and sleep here and breathe this in.
Daryl's girlfriend is Heather Burnham.
There's mold above the door, there's mold in the kitchen, it's everywhere. The corners are probably the worst, I think, because the condensation just builds up.
We did some checking. In October 2017, Knoxville's Codes Department ordered the management at Fair Hill Apartments to fix things, to repair water leakage in Daryl's apartment, to fix the heating and air system, to replace the wet carpets, among other things.
That was under old management. They come out, made a list of everything, I guess, that needed to be done. Said they had 120 days. Nobody ever fixed anything.
Daryl received this letter from Rand Properties at the end of December. It says Daryl's apartment complex is under new management. The letter said repairing and upgrading the complex would be made over time. Daryl said he called the management but received no timetable.
And you're on the list.
You're on the list.
What does that mean? He said, we'll get to it when we can.
The week before last, we went to the local office for Rand Property Management where we met with two managers. We were told emphatically Mr. Mull's apartment is going to be repaired, that fixing the interior and exterior of the building is a priority and is on the schedule. Within days, Rand Property Management had a team of workmen at the complex. Rand said its crew is working diligently to fix maintenance issues, which includes waterproofing the foundation wall, removing all water damage items inside the units. Rand said it's invested in conducting business in an ethical manner to create clean, safe, and affordable housing. This is something that the other management did not do.
No, sir. I am very pleased at what they're doing now to make up for what the last landlord did not.
While repairs are being made, Rand Property Management put Daryl up in a local motel and gave him a gift card for food.
They told me that they were very, very upset at the conditions we were living in, and told me that they would make sure that everything would be fixed.
Daryl is expected back in his apartment by the end of this week. Now, Rand Property Management said they made a visual inspection before they purchased Fair Hill Apartments, but were unable to address any issues until they officially owned the complex, which was December 28th. Daryl says Rand Management is keeping him up to date on progress being made to his apartment. And as you heard, he is very grateful. And Bo and Kristen, other units at this apartment complex in need of repair, they're also going to be fixed.
Yeah, I was wondering if there were some other groups or other people complaining as well, but it sounds like that's being taken care of.
Yeah, the building was old, back to the 70s, and it needed a lot of repairs, but the old management,
Didn't do anything, but this new management, Ryan, is on the ball right now.
Class being taken.
UPMC has sent out air samples, linen samples, samples from all sorts of equipment, trying to identify a possible source of this mold. Thursday night, a liver transplant patient rapidly showed signs of a fungal infection and died at UPMC Montefiore. That hospital is connected only by this bridge to UPMC Presbyterian, where 2 heart transplant patients who spent time in the cardiothoracic ICU died over the past year from the same mold infection. One of those patients inhaled it. The other had a fungal infection on the skin. UPMC Chief Medical and Scientific Officer Dr. Stephen Shapiro says the Presby CTICU remains closed while the CDC, state and local health departments try to find the mold source.
It was found behind the walls, and we suspected potentially if there was water leakage from a line or from the potty or something that could have contributed, and we're working on actively changing out all of that.
But UPMC says nothing has been found at Montefiore to indicate how this latest patient became infected. While they say no one else shows signs of infection, UPMC is being proactive with all transplant patients.
We have new antifungal therapy that we're going to give prophylactically to prevent the possibility of infection in those that are currently here.
And UPMC stresses that the mold causing these infections is common in the environment and only affects those seriously immunocompromised patients. I'm Kelly Brennan, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.